So when to plant soybeans, it's a widely discussed topic, sometimes can be controversial, oftentimes talked about at the coffee table. My name's Trey Stephens, I'm with Beck's Hybrids, I'm a field agronomist here, and we're going to be talking about that in this agronomy update brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Board. So the timing of planting is always talked about, it's always kind of scrutinized and there's opposing opinions, of course, on it, but when it comes down to it, there is some science that kind of backs up what is right and what is wrong, and it's not always perfect. As an agronomist, so I always say it depends, but we know that planting is the most important piece. Without planting, you don't have a final stand. So soybean planting specifically, we know that it is good to get in as early as possible because it's dependent upon light, and we can't make up more daylight as we go throughout the year, and so if we can take advantage of light early in the season, that can really help yields in the end of the season. Corn needs a perfect stand really to get up and to establish a good yield. All those plants need to be at the same growth stage when it comes to reproduction and shedding pollen and then creating the ear itself, whereas soybeans can compensate a little bit better. So if you don't have the perfect stand, they're a little bit better at branching out and putting on more pods than a corn plant would be able to do. And so you can go a little bit earlier with a soybean crop than potentially with a corn crop. So how early is too early when it comes to planting soybeans? There probably is a too early amount. I know guys get out there on social media and they plant in March just to rile up their neighbor, which I laugh at it. I think it's funny, but they are still susceptible to frost and freeze, and the annual on average freeze date in Nebraska, specifically for this area, last freeze date is around April 20th, April 23rd. And if a soybean plant is frozen, their growing point is at the top of the plant. So if it's frozen and that dies, those plants are going to die. And then insurance dates factor into all that as well. Does your insurance company cover any potential loss there? So there's a lot of decisions that go into that. But now that we're in April, I think that as far as looking at the next 48 hours and then into 10 days is really important, and guys could begin going as soon as this next week. Here at Beck's, we've been doing research on planting date studies in soybeans for 26 years. We've actually found that April 16th to the 30th as the best time frame for planting soybeans. We actually see a jump in yield above the average, about 6% above the average in yield in that time frame. At Nebraska site here in Seward, we've actually seen that it's May 1st to May 15th, but we believe that that's probably due to some mid to late season conditions as far as we know the dry summers we've had, and then we've caught late rains, so any later planted soybeans potentially caught those rains in a timely manner. So I tend to go back to our 26-year data. It has a little bit more strength in my mind, and seeing that earlier planting date has paid off for farmers in the last 26 years. I guess some advice for this year, just be careful in preparing your planter for planting. Just be thinking about the tweaks that you might need to make from last year that you wrote down on a piece of paper and you haven't done yet, or just be patient with it. It is super important to get that stand out there. We talked about how there's potential that they can make up any stand loss. Soybeans are good at that, but we know weed control is of the essence in soybeans, and the better stand you have, the better canopy closure you have, and so a good stand is really important to that. And so just to be making sure the planter is ready, and just taking your time when it gets to that. I know we get in a rush, I understand there's a lot of acres to cover, but just making sure that the planter is ready to go. Thanks for watching this agronomy update brought to you by the Nebraska Soybean Board. Good luck planting in this year of 2024.